Hello fellow creatives, welcome or welcome back to Studio. Today's video is a sewing mix video, so I'm going to be taking you through the wonderful pieces that I made in the month of March, and I'm so excited to finally come in here and tell you guys the story, give you guys the gist on how it went, the techniques I used, how it went for me, what did I do to overcome the obstacles that I went through, because trust me, they were a lot. So yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, then make sure you keep on watching. So the first sewing make is this one. Oh my god, this is very dear to my heart, okay, because the fit, you guys, the fit, I love how this fits. And it's a dress. As you can see, it has this padded bustier, and then it has a Basque waistline, so fabric combination is perfect as well. So it has an invisible zipper at the back. It's like part two of a cord set. It actually has a yoke top, so it's like a detachable kind of thing. I really do like it. I'm thinking I'm going to wear this for my graduation photo shoot. These are the pictures right here. So the first thing that I want to say about this dress is that it took me quite a lot of time to get started with this dress, and was really procrastinating with this dress because there were so many techniques that I wanted to try with this. I also wanted to, make sure that the finishing was really nice. Even the Basque, I'd never sewn a Basque before. So like this dress actually showed me that I had imposter syndrome, because I was like, oh my god, would I actually be able to sew this properly? But at the same time, I'm really happy that, I went through with it, and I, just explored a lot of techniques that I had not done before, because as a sewist, you can kind of get like familiar, with like certain sewing techniques, and you don't want to branch out, you don't want to try new things. And I just like the fact that I've challenged myself, and I'm so happy with the way it turned out. So as you can see, all of the things that I was scared about, that oh my god, I hope I'm going to do well, I actually did it well. So apart from that, one thing that I would have really done differently while I was making this was that I would ensure that the basic patterns that I worked with were properly checked, to ensure that these are current, they fit me properly. Because one thing that I did not do was that I literally did not check the skirt pattern, and apparently the skirt pattern was already too small for me, because I had made it in I think 2 years ago. Because normally if you're working with your basic patterns, it can be so easy for you to just tuck them away and just bring them out when you want to wear them. But we're humans, and as we know, we go older, we may add more weight along the line. So you want to ensure that before you start a project, if you're working with a basic pattern that you want to turn into something else, always ensure that you cross-check your measurements to ensure that measurements are your fit in that present moment. Because if you do not do that, you're going to run into problems like me. Okay, so it was actually quite a lot of stress for me, and that was part of what was giving me anxiety to actually start the project. Because trust me, you guys, once I figured out so I'd already cut out half of the skirt before I now realized, is this actually my size? Because I now had to take my tape rule and I measured. I said, oh my god, it's not. What am I gonna do? And I'm just in this phase where I just don't want to be wasting fabric anyhow. I would have literally just cut another skirt, but I was just like, let me just try to make it work. And I literally had to find a way to literally add so that it would fit me. Yes, and in that same vein, one thing that I love that I did was that it was my future Bustier pattern that I implemented to make this one. I didn't add the seam allowance in the pattern the first time I made it. Okay, so this time around I ensured that I added seam allowance all around the pattern, and you guys, as you can see, it came out perfectly. I had enough seam allowance to do all the seams perfectly, so you can be rest assured that nothing is going to just fraying and coming out. So yeah, that is just something that I really love that I did. This is just a tip for you. Please do not forget to ensure that the pattern you're working with has the correct measurements at that moment, okay? Because you don't want to be caught the way I was caught, because trust me, it's just going to delay your process. And just something, probably as I was cutting out the pattern on the fabric, if I didn't want to create a whole new pattern there and then, maybe because of the time constraints and everything, I could have just added the amount of inches that I actually needed while I was cutting the fabric. Do you understand? So yeah, that is something that you want to ensure that you do. Let's talk about all the techniques that I love that I did when it came to this. The first one is definitely fusing the tube top bustier pieces with interfacing. You guys, it literally changed the game. Okay, because most times with all those things, like you notice that, oh, as you're sewing it, it's just going to be stretching out of place, and before you know it, everything is not going to be aligned, it's not going to like go properly. But you guys, trust me, just because I fused it, the interfacing just made everything stable, and that just enabled me to sew without stress. I wasn't worrying about, you know, the velvet fabric, you know, stretching and things stretching out of place, because you know velvet fabric can be quite a lot to handle. So yeah, I did. That was one technique that I love that I did. And also top stitching on the bust, I really do love that I did that, because it just added that extra distinct. This is the first time that I'm actually doing this, and you know, I'm definitely going to be doing it later on. So I actually intended to add boning to this, but I didn't add the boning to this because I was just like, is there really need for the boning right now? Is like, am I trying to give this a corset kind of vibe? No, I'm not really trying to give this a corset kind of vibe. So like, I just like last minute, I just like throw it away, and I really do love that I did that, because I didn't need that. But you know, comment down below, would you have actually added boning to this just to stabilize it a little bit and just make it more stable? But I didn't. I also added an invisible zipper, which I love that I did. And I also, you know, added like this technique where you just like remove some inches at the waist so that the invisible zipper would go in and there won't be like any gaping at the back. So you guys, the zip on this dress is seamless, okay, if I do say so myself. Speaking of the invisible zipper, I also love the technique that I used for the zipper. So as you can see, the invisible zip, where is it? Can you see it? Can you see the invisible zip? I think not. This is the first time that I'm actually sewing an invisible zip for it to be like this and actually invisible. I actually, you know, just implemented a different style of like sewing the invisible zipper, and I also use my invisible zip footer. And you guys, magic. As you can see, you can't see, like, it's invisible. This is the way it's meant to be. Okay, this is the way it's meant to be. So I can't believe that I've had this zip footer for 2.5 years, and this is the first time that I'm actually using it, like putting it to good use. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. If you don't have, go and get it, because trust me, it's just going to make your life so much easier, because it literally just makes it so much easier to actually sew. But I actually went a step further by actually ironing my zip so that, you know, everything will just be flat and it will just be easier for me to sew. So yeah, I'm really happy that I, you know, implemented a new technique while sewing my invisible zipper, because it made it really beautiful. So in terms of the inside, I think I did pretty well, okay, because this fabric is literally hell when it comes to fraying. This fabric wants to fray, because it's like this brocade kind of thing, so it has so many different like threads. And when I wanted to literally clean my machine after sewing this, like when I wanted to like defluff and everything, if you see the inside of my machine after sewing this fabric, just comment down below, because I know that I'm not the only one who goes through this kind of thing. It's a whole lot when it wants to fray. Okay, so I made sure that I, you know, overlocked everywhere, and I'm happy that I did, because it kind of looks like, it's not kind of, it looks really neat inside. So as you can see, everywhere is overlocked, and I just love it. Like, it's going to stay like this forever, literally forever. Okay, so yeah, that is literally that for this dress. It took me quite a while for me to actually get going with it, but once I got going, it just turned out really beautiful. I love it so much. I really do love it. Out of all the things that I made this year, because this is like the end of the first quarter of the year, so I can actually like speak on the things like throughout this quarter, Q1, and this is definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Yeah, I really do like it. And I'm sure you like it too. You like it too. Comment down below if you like it too. I'm sure you're going to like it too. So comment down below. I'm definitely going to give this a 10 out of 10. Period. Okay, 10 out of 10, because I love it. I love everything about this, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So yeah. Okay, so that is that for that. And then for my second sewing make of the month, you guys, the story behind this dress. Oh my god, the story behind this dress. Oh my god. So before we get into the tea, let me just take you to the dress and, you know, the specs of the dress. So it's a long sleeve dress. It has this beautiful like keyhole neckline kind of thing going on. I won't call it a keyhole though, like I would just call it like, you know, circular things just going on in the dress. Just then it has this ties at the sides here. Okay, it's not tied, but it has the side at the ties, and it also has this ties at the back as well. Oh my god, Really? Really, shower? Really? Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing? Please pretend you did not see that. Only thing is that this color though, I think I'm going to change this to the white because I feel like it's not giving me, especially the orange. I feel like the orange is a little bit too deep, but this one I was able to get the exact color of the bias. Okay, so the first thing about this dress was that it took me a long time to decide. You guys, I was just going back and forth and deciding what to sew. I literally created dozens of Pinterest boards, but the thing was that I knew that I wanted to work with fabric like this, okay, because I wanted to make a video on, you know, stretchy fabrics and all of that. So because I wanted to use stretchy fabric, I just, you know, searched on my fabric directory on the stretch fabrics that I had, and this was the one that, you know, seemed best for me to use at this time. So I decided, oh, let me just use this one. So you guys, I already had the fabric in mind. I was now searching. I decided, oh, I want to make this. Second minute, I'll just straight away, like literally it literally took me a whole week to decide on what to sew. Yes, it took me a whole week to decide on what to sew. Now, in as much as, you know, it really did give me a lot, that just like really made me like put things into perspective, because planning should actually take a lot of time. Like you should just gather inspiration from different things, different places to create your final garment and create a garment that is unique. And I really do feel like this garment is unique because I literally just took like elements of different things and just used it to create my own garment. And then one other funny story about this was that I literally had to change my mind last minute, okay, because I literally had fabrics that I felt would go well with it, like actual like 1 yard fabrics. So at first in my mind, like when I was planning everything, I planned that I would cut those fabrics in the bias grain as bias tape, but then I just thought of it. I was just like, wait though, am I really going to waste my fabric because I want to cut bias tape when I can just literally go to the market and get this bias tape? So I literally just had to go to the market. I just went to get my bias tape, and you guys, I do not regret it, because like I would have just like wasted the fabric and just like cut the fabric in, because you know now you have to cut the fabric in a 90-degree angle. You can't just cut like straight and say you want to use it for bias, you know, to turn the neckline and everything. So that was one thing that I really do love that I did. So those fabrics, I still have them there and they're still in my stash in case I want to use them for something else. And speaking of the bias tape, speaking of the neckline, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's not the neatest finishing for the neckline. Okay, it's not neat at all, and I'm so upset about this, okay, because this was actually my first time doing this neckline design. So I thought that I could just like fold the bias tape and just top stitch on it, but because I had to do that, I started missing out some of the fabric, because you know I was top stitching, so like I wasn't seeing it. And the thing that I would have done differently with this neckline is that I would have done a basting stitch with all of these things first before I now actually went to use my sewing machine to sew on it, okay, because the basting stitch, you would actually say what you're doing, because you're the one that's actually like sewing it, okay, before you now go ahead to sew with your sewing machine, because you know with your sewing machine you have limited control on how it turns out, okay, because you might think you're sewing and then trust me, those like the fabric is just looking at you like haha, you didn't get me. And then also you would notice that there are like blue lines. This wouldn't have been a problem if I'd actually just cut it properly on the lines that I created, but for some reason I didn't do that. So as you can see, the lines are peeking through and it's just not giving a good look. Honestly, with this neckline, I'm not feeling this, because you know, apart from like the parts that I did not like get, the sewing is just really not neat. It's creasing and everything. So yeah, the neckline really did not turn out as planned, and that just brought me to the thing that, you know, prototyping is actually really essential sometimes. Like if this was a piece that I wanted to, you know, sell or anything like that, I would have definitely considered this as my prototype, okay, because as I've sewn it now, I can definitely ensure that, you know, when I sew it again, when I want to sew the actual piece, I'm not going to make all the mistakes that I made, especially with this neckline, because this neckline, this neckline has a lot of mistakes, okay. So this just made me consider, and this just made me like open my eyes to, you know, the possibility of prototyping. But since I'm sewing for myself and this now I can wear it, like, hey, I made it, I'm gonna wear it. But if I'm sewing for other people, I can't give them this. Is this bad? Is that a bad way to think? That's a bad way to think, but I actually want to even make a video about that. Okay, so if I was to rate this, at first, at first glance, I would rate it a 9. 8.5, but because of how terrible the neckline is, I'm definitely going to rate it a 6 because of that, because this neckline is not necklining. It's not necklining at all. I'm so upset about it, but oh well, you know, you live and you learn. And if I'm going to make this type of thing again, I know what to avoid. So yeah, guys, that is literally it for my same mix of the month. So as you can see, it was an eventful month. Okay, it was an eventful month, and I definitely learned a lot of things, as already said. But I feel like the general lesson that I've learned, the key takeaway of this month, is that there is beauty in the process. Okay, because with my makes for this month, I realized that I really did take my time to think about all of the things that I wanted to do. Or think about the elements you want to add to the dress. Think about the techniques you want to add to the dress. Take your time to go the extra mile to get all those things that would enable the sewing process, the sewing journey to be better. Okay, because at the end of the day, you would feel like a better sewist. Okay, because this thing is not just about even like creating garments that you love. It's also about building your confidence in your skills. And if you don't look at the beauty in the process and you don't take it that, oh, okay, I actually want to implement, like, I want to try a new style today, I want to try a new technique with this dress, you won't go anywhere and you won't build that confidence. Because now I know that, okay, this neckline was kind of botched, but I can make it work. Okay, the next time that I'm doing something like this, I know the things to avoid. So yeah, that is just one thing that I learned today. Overall, there is beauty in the process. There is beauty in the process. There's beauty in the sewing process. So yeah, that is just that for that. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really do hope that you got some tips. I hope that you enjoyed my gist. I hope that you learned something new. I hope you're able to relate to all of the stories that I had. Comment down below which one you can relate to the most. Let's have a chit chat in the comment section. So yeah, that is that for that. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really, really, really do appreciate your support. Please if you have not subscribed, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. If you have not liked this video, like this video right now. Like it right now. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.